I think in the last episode I went up into the attic and I kind of got lost up there, bumbling around, banging my head on imaginary slides. And when I say up in the attic, I do of course mean up my own arse. So this time I'm keeping it simple, simpler in terms of word choices at least. I might be lying, let's find out together. Welcome everybody. I am the air quotes comedian, an Englishman who is as American as apple pie, yeah. And this is the Polemics, not just a nugget of entertainment for those in the trenches, no, but a movement. But more on that later. Welcome. This week I took on a new job as a white van driver, working remotely just so I could be the kind of common sense, down to earth, salt of the type of person who can tell you what's what and come up with no nonsense, straightforward solutions to the problems we face today. That's right, it's time for Populist Patrick, the anarchist with an aneurysm, here with some quickfire rounds aimed straight into the gut of the system. The system is oh so scared, but I'm loaded, cocked, behave. Let's begin. You know what wealth is, right? It is our consent for an unequal distribution of resources, isn't it? It's an illusion sustained by our permission. What if tomorrow we, the regular folk, that's you, not me, I'm special, I've got a microphone with a stand and everything, but what if the rest of you ragamuffins and rapscallions collectively decided that the little bits of papers and plastic markers and numbers held in precarious data centres were just nonsense and fucking acted accordingly? Why the fuck not? They have their post-truth and selective laws which render everything nonsense. They started it. Now it's our fucking turn, and they're not gonna like it one fucking bit. I'll be there to make sure of it, with my lemon peels and coarse sandpaper attached to a stick. Wealth is nothing more than ink on a page. So I suppose what I'm saying is that next time you go out for groceries, just skip the self-checkout, and if any Jobsworth sticks their oar in, just say, nah mate, I thought I'd skip it. I mean, it's just bullshit, innit, all this business with money. What's that about then? Now, stop gabbing and give us a hand loading up. I've got to get back to the gaff, innit? Now, before I hear any complaints, there's nothing simpler than the colourful patois of my contemporaries from the old lands. Essex. Speaking of racism, right, what that is not liking people because of how they look, isn't it? Or how they sound, or what their name is. So the solution, remember, I'm doing the down-to-earth, straight, common, forward-sense solutions. The solution to a more civil society is to simply burst the eardrums and poke the eyes out of all the racists. So simple, a child could do it. We should start teaching children how to ensure the special senses of racists be made inoffensive to the user. I have more salt of the earth bleeding obvious solutions to what ails us. The unhoused people, right, what the problem is, apparently, is that there are not enough places for them to go. Oh yeah. Well, you've heard of Housing First. Maybe you have. Housing First makes financial sense and ultimately saves society money, and this is viewing it through a capitalist lens, and yet, strangely, the idea is rejected time and again on ideological grounds. But fuck Housing First. I look up and down the streets and see empty houses, empty apartments. We'll just fucking have those, thanks. Now nobody is unhoused. How many rooms at your mansion, Mr. and or Ms. Big Shot? Hey everybody, we got a heated pool over here. We're partying. The big shots don't look too happy, but what are they going to do? I showed them the last paragraph of the script, so they already know there's no point in trying to call the authorities. But we move on from Housing First, the militant edition, to a new concept I just now came up with that will solve the problem of integrating immigrants into our communities. I call it Integrate First, and it's not stick a flag up your arse, eat nothing but cinnamon pies and speak only English, the native tongue of the Americas, according to the rulers. No, that's not what I mean by integration. I mean immigrants are housed right away, allowed to work and contribute taxes straight off of the bat, the kids in school with no delay, Get them a stipend that will tide them over until they're on their way. Watch the investment grow and the cash roll in. It works through the capitalist lens, even through that, the most evil of all lenses. And, as we all know, Bob, there are only two manufacturers of glasses in the world, aren't there? Because choices are, that is to say, options are, by which I mean a binary decision is, fantastic. We're all computers now, buddy. We were the A1 all along. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I'm going to be of little help to you, dear viewer, because I don't have a clue either. Funny how integrate first is cheaper and more efficient than belligerence and hatred against immigrants, but is opposed on ideological grounds, which is to say, I wish it was funny because I could have done with a joke for the ending of this paragraph. I have noticed one or two of the vomiting heads on the evil YouTube invite people not just to like and subscribe and join the channel, no. All of that was just because they're all like, we've reached X amount of subscribers and you should join the movement. Movement, you say? Your channel on evil YouTube. Your channel is, oh, so much more than entertainment. Look at my generosity by not calling it slop. I'm so kindly and nice. Now, I'd be a fool to believe that there aren't some legitimate movements that happen to have channels on evil YouTube, and I'm certainly not including them in this. I'm talking about some person or a small team of people working together in an oversized trench coat, and they make their shitty slop with scientific precision. It always boils down to vote Democrat, fuck off. And they're all smiling and thumbnails made with a ruler and a spirit level, and you want us to join your movement. Fuck their grifty movements. I've got a movement you can join, dear viewer. I've got a bowel movement you could get involved with. Join my bowels. Let's make a fistula together. I was watching some person, I assume it was a person, it might have been otherwise, but whatever way you slice it, it is a product of human endeavour, right? So, in a roundabout way, you know what? Let me have another go at this paragraph, but instead of being straight up, let's give it a layer of satire. I was watching a captivating narrative from a compelling person, but in the dynamic world of digital realms and with so-called AI reaching new heights of command, I delve into my treasure trove of information to conclude that you know what, I'm going to be honest, it got away from me. Now, I am aware that evil Microsoft Word 2002 has a delete function, but I've yet to find it, which is why Gregor Miminsky, the world-famous mime, who sells out arena after arena, night after night, is only in the position they're in because they were clever enough to work out how to delete the rubbish from their script using their state-of-the-art personal computer in the early 2000s. It's a true story. It better be, otherwise Gregor might sue me for libel at the scripting stage and then for slander when I perform it. He's such a famous godlike star, Gregor Miminsky, the world-famous mime. A celebrity beyond celebrity, he can sue me twice for the same thing. Sue me once, shame on me. Sue me twice, shame on Sue. It's not a joke really, I just like the sound of it. Anyway, before I forget the point I was headed toward, let me have another, perhaps final go, perhaps not, but as I want to get to the next thing, I think I'll just do it like I would in real life. I was watching some person talk about how, if you don't like something but it's really popular, then it's overrated. And if you do like something and it's not really popular, then it's underrated. Bob Dylan appeared on Porn Stars. That was the note at the end of the paragraph, and the point I was headed toward before I headed to bed for the day. You see, I just learned that Bob Dylan, the Woody Guthrie tribute guy, appeared on Porn Stars, the ultimate reality television show, in that nothing about it is real at all. Rupert the racist bear is more real than Porn Stars. I was going to do a whole bit about Right, I'm going to stop myself here because I was just about to use the word vacuous, and I have to be truthful, that was the least of what I was going to fart out. It would have amounted to a convolution of methane beyond comprehensibility, and I'm trying to keep it simple. Like a Trump. That's a particular type of fart in the PARP family of sounds that resembles a muted brass. But I was going to do a whole bit on culture, celebrity, and then I thought, hang on, I literally couldn't give a shit about either of these things. Bob Dylan has the cultural relevancy of a wet mop, and I am completely flummoxed as to why viewing the habits of parasite pawnbrokers has any cachet at all. But the twain meeting kind of makes sense, I guess. I was going to call this one Cold Cuts and Hot Takes, but my hot take on Bob Dylan appearing on Pawn Stars is anything but. Plus, I figured that had probably only been the title of a billion things. Cold Cuts and Hot Takes. Sounds like something corporate would come up with. Ad-Hoc Testicles, though. Not too common a title, I would think. Perhaps I could try a different hot take. In fact, I have to, as I obligated myself earlier in the script. Shooting all police in their fascist faces is a good thing. That's not the hot take. But in order to be fiscally responsible, we should save bullets. I think that's a saving we can all reasonably agree upon. So in lieu of shooting them in their silly fascist faces, we just beat them to death with the iron itself. Every last fucking one of them. You might be starting to see why I don't want a large audience. Don't subscribe, etc. I'm not supported by my audience. I'm here to support you by providing a little mirth. Admittedly, very little, but my intentions are good, dear viewer, especially as I half-inched those intentions from the road to hell. Good night.